Welcome back to Crime Pulse Files, the channel where silence speaks louder than sirens and nothing stays buried for long. Today we're talking about something that hit a little different. A town that's supposed to be quiet, peaceful, the kind of place where you leave your doors unlocked, just got rocked by a murder. I'm talking about Carrick-on-Suir, County Tipperary. And trust me, you're going to want to stay with me through this one. Because this story, it starts with silence. Early Monday morning, just after 3:30, emergency services roll up to a house on Craig Road. Inside, a man in his late 40s, completely unresponsive. No signs of a struggle, no sounds, just stillness. That man's name was Ian Walsh, 49 years old, local guy, former Irish rail worker, recently switched to driving buses. People say he kept to himself, went to work, came home. No enemies, no drama, nothing shady. But that night, something happened. A local GP showed up and confirmed what the responders already suspected. Ian was dead. And just now, within the last 48 hours, the guards confirmed what everyone feared. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't health related. This was murder. And the way it went down. Man, it's cold, calculated, personal. Because here's the thing, there were no signs of forced entry. Which means what? Either Ian opened that door himself, or the killer didn't need to break in at all. Yeah, let that sit for a second. Stick around because what the guards just found out in the post-mortem takes this case to another level. And trust me, we're only getting started. So now it's official. This wasn't natural. This wasn't sudden. Ian Walsh was murdered. The post-mortem came back, and what it shows is straight up savage. Multiple stab wounds, all to the upper body. Not one, not two. We're talking a series of violent strikes. Whoever did this didn't just lash out, they were committed. They made sure Ian wasn't getting back up. And here's the part that makes your stomach turn. He wasn't found right away. That attack could have happened hours, maybe even days before someone finally stepped into that house. No one noticed. No one heard. No one reported a thing. Think about that. You're in a quiet neighborhood, houses close together, people know each other. But somehow a man gets stabbed to death inside his home, and it's just silence. That's not just brutal, it's calculated. And still, there were no signs of forced entry. No kicked in doors, no broken locks. Which means someone was let in, or someone never needed to knock in the first place. Ian died in his own space in what should have been his safest place. That's not just murder, that's a message. And someone out there is staying real quiet. Too quiet. Here's the part that makes this whole thing colder than it already is. There was no break-in, no smashed windows, no kicked in doors. The place wasn't trashed. Nothing looked stolen. Nothing looked rushed. So let's stop and ask the obvious. Who did Ian let in? Because it's either that or the killer had access. That changes everything. We're no longer talking about a stranger in the shadows. We're talking about someone who knew Ian. Or someone Ian trusted enough to open that door in the middle of the night. And in a town like Carrick-on-Suir, that list can't be very long. Now we know the guards aren't just looking around the crime scene anymore. They're deep into Ian's digital life, phone, laptop, tablet. Any message, email, call log, they want all of it. They're not looking for stolen property. They're looking for conversations, a fight, a warning, a threat, a meeting. Anything that puts someone in Ian's orbit in those final hours. Because if the killer left a footprint, it probably wasn't in blood. It was in text. And let's be honest, if someone planned this, they didn't just show up out of the blue. There was probably a digital trail, even if it's been deleted, especially if it's been deleted. Now, here's where the timeline gets eerie. The last confirmed sighting of Ian, Friday night around 8. The body wasn't discovered until 3:30 on Monday morning. That's nearly 3 full days. 3 days where Ian was just gone, lying there, no one checking in, no one raising alarms. And during those 3 days, someone had time to leave, to wipe down, to vanish. No screams, no witnesses, no camera footage released. That's not luck, that's intent. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. They either counted on Ian being isolated or they made sure he would be. When the guards move like this, it means one thing: they're locking in. An incident room has now been set up specifically for Ian Walsh's case. That's not some routine step, that's a serious murder protocol. It means a senior investigating officer is now running point, and a dedicated team is working this case from morning to night. There's also a family liaison officer on the case, now someone assigned to stay in direct contact with Ian's loved ones. That only happens when investigators expect this to drag on, when it's too complex for quick answers. Translation: they know this one's gonna get messy. Here's what's weird: we've got a confirmed murder, we've got stab wounds, we've got no forced entry, and we've got a huge chunk of missing time. But no arrests. That doesn't mean the guards have nothing. That usually means they have something, but they're not ready to move yet. No one's been named publicly, but behind the scenes, you can bet they're watching someone. Because you don't stab a man multiple times in his own home and leave without leaving something behind. A trace, a link, a reason. And if they're waiting to strike, they're probably building a case that won't leave room for doubt. Right now, the guards are pushing one specific window hard. From 8 on Friday night to 3:30 Monday morning. That's the black hole. They're urging anyone, drivers, walkers, cyclists, people in passing cars, if you were near Craig Road or even Ravenswood during that time, speak up. Even if it's nothing. Even if you think it doesn't matter. Dash cam footage, doorbell footage, CCTV from shops, a strange car parked where it usually isn't, someone walking fast, someone watching. Anything in that 3 day stretch could be the crack that breaks this wide open because someone out there saw something. And maybe they don't even know it yet. You won't find this in official statements, not in the press briefings, not on the record. But in the corners of Carrick-on-Suir, people are starting to talk. Not loud, not public, but quietly behind fences and over pints. Some say Ian was involved in a dispute, something personal, something that festered. Others believe this wasn't the first threat he'd faced. Then there's a darker theory, one that suggests Ian may have been targeted in a premeditated hit by someone who knew his routine to the second. A lot of people in town didn't know Ian well, and now they're wondering if anyone really did. It's not just grief in the air anymore, it's paranoia. People are locking doors earlier, checking their cameras more. Because if this happened once, what's stopping it from happening again? Right now, one fact hangs over everything like a storm cloud. The killer is still out there. No arrests, no named suspect, no closure. And that's what cuts deepest for a town like this: the not knowing. Ian Walsh was 49. He worked. He went home. He minded his own. And now he's gone, stabbed to death in a place he should have felt safest. And the person who did it, they've had days to run, days to plan, days to watch. The guards are under pressure now. The family's living in a nightmare. And the public, they're stuck in this weird limbo, scared, curious and waiting for something to break. Because the silence around this case, it's starting to feel planned. Someone out there knows exactly what happened to Ian Walsh, and sooner or later, they're going to make a mistake.